bet that, never gotta sweat that. You could bet that, never gotta sweat that. You could bet that, never gotta sweat that. You could bet that, never gotta sweat that. You could
Okay,
bet
so the
that.
fifth point I want to talk about is wanting versus having. You know, there is a seduction, a sticky, alluring seduction of the grandiose, if you like, the shiny, glamorous things in life. They are seductive. Like, I think that's the best way I can describe it. It's so easy to say, I want a car, I want a big house. You know, I need to rein in the wanting and the desiring, and I need to ruminate. I learned that word recently and I love it. I need to ruminate in the having. I might want X, Y, and Z, but I have A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. You know, I have so much. But I think the balance of wanting and having is often I want and I have, right? And I think it's important to go like this. I'm not saying that we shouldn't want and desire things, because that's what goals are, right? You aspire to something. I'm not saying we shouldn't have aspirations, but I'm saying often the scales are like this. The wanting is up here and the appreciation of what we have is down here. And I think what I've realised that I need to work to do is go like this. I appreciate what I have higher than the things that I'm desiring, you know? And I think it's this shift that is a key thing that I've learned. And, you know, there's some sort of, you know, I don't know, word for this graph, but you get something and you feel elated, and then you go back to a plateau, right? It's like, it's this shape. And you go back to a plateau, right? So you're always going to come back to the same constant. And that's why I'm kind of an advocate, or I personally strive for contentment. I don't really necessarily strive to be happy, because happy is up here. I'm going to be happy and I'm going to be sad, but I want to strive to be content. I want to strive to be satisfied, to appreciate and be pleased with what I have, as opposed to always striving to be happy, desiring to want this, that, and the third. The power of words. Okay, and I think I alluded to this in another insight number. I can't remember, when I spoke about saying, you know, when faced with a hurdle, you say amazing, or you hold your hands up and you say how fascinating, instead of complaining. You know, that was along the same thread. But words are really powerful, and it's an understanding of what your words enable you to do, and what your words preclude you from doing, what your words kind of are a catalyst for, and what your words are a limitation of. And an example of this, and again this links to the previous insight about the stories you tell yourself, but it's your self-talk, right? The way you talk about yourself, or the way you think about yourself, is incredibly important, because the way you talk about yourself will dictate the way that you perceive yourself, and the way that you perceive yourself will dictate the way you present it throughout the world, right? And the way you present it throughout the world is gonna affect other people. If you talk about yourself negatively, you're gonna have a negative perception of yourself. So the way that you present is that you're going to project this ill will that you have towards yourself. You're going to project it, and it's going to manifest in judgment and criticism and short-temperedness and a lack of thought. Basically, it's not thoughtful. You're not being thoughtful with your words, because at the beginning of the chain, you weren't thoughtful with the way that you speak to yourself. I think at the root of it, in terms of being kind, empathetic, understanding to people, it is, are you kind, empathetic, and understanding to yourself? You know, it's at the root, it's how you talk to yourself. That is what is the seed to how you treat and talk to other people. Use words thoughtfully. Just sit before you speak. Give it a second. When you think of speaking, think of listening. Speaking and listening are not mutually exclusive activities. And this is listening both to other people and to your emotions. If you're angry, listen to the anger before you speak. Understand that you are angry before you put words to whatever it is you want to say. And another distinction with words is something that Brene Brown revealed to me. A huge fan of Brene Brown. And with regards to the power of words, she said it's really important to distinguish between saying I did a bad thing versus I am a bad person. When they do something that they are not proud of, they say, oh, I'm such an idiot, like, why the hell did I do that? I'm such an idiot. You are not an idiot. You yourself are not an idiot. You did an idiotic thing. Separate yourself from your actions. And that's not to absolve you of responsibility, but it's to stop you from talking negatively about yourself. Because as I kind of mentioned before, if you talk negatively about yourself, you're going to talk negatively about other people. I really, really strongly believe that. You're going to go out judging and criticizing other people because you can't help but to judge and criticize yourself. The seventh piece of insight is that it's not personal. It's not personal. Most things that people say or do are not a direct result of you, but it's a direct result of what they themselves happen to be going through. You know, it's a projection of whatever they're feeling or going through internally. It's not you. More than anything, I find it incredibly freeing, which is that this is a personal, it's sometimes like a self-care tool, if you like, because it releases you from the stranglehold of being concerned about what other people think about you, because you can begin to appreciate that it's not personal. That person just isn't being intentional and deliberate and thoughtful with their words. They're just spewing them all out. It's not you, it's their inability to be considered with their words and their thoughts. It's their inability or current inability to be kind to themselves such that they can be kind to others. And the final insight is best characterized by the thought of scratching past the surface. And this is with regards to being discerning about people and experiences and behaviors and actions in that they're not always as it seems. And this isn't to be like pessimistic or unnecessarily skeptical, but it's just to be discerning, to be aware, you know, to pay attention. And the surface that kind of tends to coat a lot of behaviors, actions, and decisions, if you like, are a surface that is characterized by either seeking a gold star or a surface that is characterized by some sort of delusion about what's important, right? This surface has two parts, if you like. And there are a couple of like pairs or dualities or, you know, distinctions that I want to highlight that give life to this. Goodwill versus glory. On the surface, you think that they're being a really charitable, amazing person, but you scratch past the surface and you realize that every single charitable act they post on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook so that people can give them a high five, and you realize that they're glory seeking. Another example is bravery versus bravado. On the surface, they seem brave, right? They seem like a vulnerable, true human being, and then you scratch past the surface and you realize that it's bravado. They're just chest puffing and neck stretching without any substance. Another one, and this is a really poignant distinction with regards to like dating and guys and stuff, is you versus the idea of you. And I think this is scratching past the surface of other people's intentions. You think that someone likes you, but you scratch past the surface and you realize that they probably just like the idea of you. Yeah. And the kind of the last distinction, which I think probably is the one that we're all most familiar with, is success versus insecurity. You scratch past the surface and you realize what they have can't really be characterized as success. They're flashing all of their things. And I mean, they have achieved things. If you think about it as like waters, you know, the waters of life. Some people are out here, you know, doing backflips, cartwheels, using psychokinesis to hover above the water. They're doing the most. And you are just there swimming in a considered, deliberate, thoughtful manner, you know, aware of your surroundings, observing but not judging, just enjoying the water, you know, discovering new parts of the water, not chasing the latest psychokinesis method for hovering above the water. This is the rubbish analogy, but you get the picture, right? The waters of life, you are there being deliberate and thoughtful, and there's other people backflipping and cartwheeling, just doing the most without, you know, without thinking, without understanding the power of their words, without being disciplined for the correct reason, without being aware of the stories that they tell themselves, still being limited by an outlook of struggle as opposed to being liberated by an outlook of possibility. What a long video. I feel like the lighting has completely disappeared. I hope it's still okay. But thanks for watching, guys. I really, really appreciate it. I hope you got something from this video. Yes, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope everyone's really well, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.